Making the invisible visible, Black women 365 days of the year. Each day will spotlight a remarkable woman whose story has shaped Black, British or global diasporic history. Women whose achievements are too often overlooked. Through these daily short films, we create a living, breathing archive of leadership, creativity, resistance and legacy. Let's begin.
I am Christienna D Fryar. I am a writer, a historian. I also run a charity, so I'm a charity CEO. Everything that I do has come from this idea that I have and believe in very strongly that comes from my own upbringing, that Britain and the Caribbean can't actually be separated. And so the attempt in Britain to separate them, I think, is false and flawed. And so I've done a lot of work kind of rewriting history or teaching history from the perspective of how those two regions and places and people are deeply connected. And that's a way of kind of rewriting British history. I'm currently writing a book, or finishing a book, called Entangled Lands, A Caribbean History of Britain, which is rewriting the last 500 years of British history from the perspective of the Caribbean. I've worked with the Church Commissioners Oversight Group, where we've been advising the Church Commissioners, which is effectively the endowment arm of the Church of England. We've made a series of recommendations about how they should structure a fund that is in response to their historical involvement in African chattel enslavement. And I've done other things as well, and now, as I mentioned, I am the CEO of a charity called Seacole House, which is in Liverpool. And so there's a lot of, I've been doing a lot of different things, a range of racial justice work as well, but I think what brings all of that together is my real deep belief that history is a really powerful tool for racial justice. If we don't understand what's happened, it's hard to make claims for a better future. Day to day, I'm running charity, so that looks like everything from budget spreadsheets to doing partnership work around the city, to working with the team that we have at Seacole House, which is a really great team, to working with the board. So that is everything from ordering toilet roll to kind of developing big strategies for what we want to be doing. But I also have all these other kind of things that I've been doing for a really long time. So I often will come home from working, and then will often go back to doing some sort of other kind of history work, whether that's writing. I'm really trying to build more creative pursuits in my life. I think that is something that, as Black people, particularly those of us who are not sort of in the arts as a profession, it can be really hard to connect with the arts as we're kind of struggling in our day-to-day life. And so this is something that I've been really trying to build back into my life. I played the piano when I was growing up, and so I'm trying to build music and art back into my life while also trying to write this book and finish this book. I think the one that I'll mention here is the MA Black British History. So I moved to the UK in 2017. I was teaching for a few years at the University of Liverpool, and I left to go to Goldsmiths, and they were about to launch an MA Black British History, and I was brought in as the founding convener. And we launched in 2020, exactly the following year. In Black History Month, I received a risk of redundancy notice. There's that part of the trajectory, and that is in part how I ended up leaving academia. I wasn't made redundant, but I just decided that there was really no space. It didn't feel to me like there was a really good space for Black studies in British universities, and I needed to take my talents elsewhere. But then there was also kind of what happened in that program. And it was a program with just an amazing group of students. It wasn't just about the content, it was about the place, it was about the space that was created and how desperately we need those spaces where we're seen, where we're validated, where we're celebrated. And I think a lot of the work that I have done since has been in different ways trying to build those spaces, or being part of teams that are building those spaces, moving resources into Black communities. So that program, both the work that I was doing with it, the profile I gained from it, the real sense I had that what was most important about that program wasn't even so much the content, as important as that was, but the space has really led to the last 5 years or so of a career where I'm really bringing together the history work I do, organization building work, racial justice work, the arts, and all of these other things that I'm trying to bring together. I'm laughing because I'm notorious at not caring for myself. It's something I'm working on. I've actually been working on it quite a lot. On the other hand, though, joy is really important to me. I think it is, if you look at the history, if you look at what all Black people have survived, we survived it because of joy. And joy, to my mind, doesn't even necessarily require optimism. It doesn't require happiness. It just requires a kind of aliveness and being, really embodying the kind of miracle that it is to be alive, and celebrating those, if not small wins, since I'm bad at that, but I am very good at kind of enjoying what there is around me. So again, whether that's music or TV, I really love pop culture, I love sport, I love sports. And I think those things, and keeping an eye on those things and even bringing in joy in kind of day-to-day work. It's not uncommon for people to tell me in the job, oh, we heard you laughing, a floor away, because I think it's just so important to find that liveliness, that joy, those moments of laughter wherever you can, regardless of whatever else is happening. We're not going to survive this moment without that.
Thank you for joining us for today's story. Making the Invisible Visible is our commitment to ensuring that Black women's histories and contributions are recognised, valued and kept in daily circulation. Across 2026, we will continue to share these powerful narratives, 365 days of impact, brilliance and inspiration. Stay connected, join the conversation and help us champion the women whose journeys continue to shape our world. I'm Paulette Brooks, and I'm looking forward to seeing you tomorrow for the next story.